It was a busy weekend down at Daytona. 4 races. I caught them all. The other 2 caught most of them. A lot to talk about this week. You have Kyle Busch on pole. You've got Chandler Smith missing the show just to win the truck race, and so much more. We'll talk about it on the show.
Sounds right.
Hello, and welcome back to the Announcers Curse podcast. I'm Derek Todoroff.
And I am Ben Iman.
And I am Caden Barksale.
Through Speed Weeks.
What a week.
I have been glued to Fox Sports and for a little bit CW Sports all week long. Man, to start, I suppose the best place probably at Daytona 500 qualifying. Kyle Busch goes fastest. But that's not even the story I'd say was the big one. Corey LaJoie and Justin Allgaier to decide who got to get that final spot into the Daytona 500, decided by less than a hundredth of a second in heartbreaking fashion there for Corey LaJoie, which would only get worse. Mention that here in just a little bit. Kyle Busch as your fastest, Corey Heim and qualify in on speed, which meant that Corey LaJoie, Chandler Smith, and Casey Mears would have to do duel number 1 with the top machine 1, making their way in. And duel number 2 would see JJ Yaley, BJ McLeod, and Anthony Alfredo. Any big names stick out to you from Daytona 500 qualifying?
No, I think qualifying was pretty chalk. Chase Briscoe on the outside of row 1. Man, him and James Ball know how to qualify at the World Center of Racing. If only they can put it together and put one of these 500s together, I would love to see that for them. But no, we went into the duels, and I kind of had the first one, the first duel, I kind of just had Corey LaJoie circled, and on the second duel, I kind of just had Anthony Alfredo circled, and I figured that's kind of where it was going to go. Until a really, really bad push by Daniel Suarez in duel number 1 for Corey LaJoie. If you would have told me going into the duel that all 4, or was it 3? Anyway, a majority of the RFK cars would be in the same duel, and they wouldn't get Corey LaJoie into the show, then I would have told you something catastrophic happened, and that's pretty much what did.
I mean, it was not for lack of trying. For majority of the race, it was the 4 RFK cars all in the same duel out front together.
Wow.
And poof, but Daytona was chaotic this week. It's the big overarching factor to take away from all this. So for Corey, Chandler, each one of them had problems. Casey Mears spun out coming to pit road, disrupting the green flag cycle. Thanks to the new technology that NASCAR rolled out this year, the crew brings out this canister of pressurized air, puts it into the side of the car, and it raises the suspension so they can drive out the grass easier.
It's really cool.
That came in a number of times, most notably for Casey Mears, getting him back out on the track only 1 lap down. Caution would set up overtime, would set him up to make the show after he got the lucky dog and was able to just send it, really. In that final wreck, there's a great camera shot of Casey Mears just full throttling it straight up alongside the wall, starting to get into another car, does not care, keeps going, all while Ryan Preece murders Ross Chastain for no reason during that unfolding chaos. But duel number 1 went to Joey Logano, him, I guess, affectionately and not so affectionately known as the Bastard on our sheet. I'm not particularly fond of Joey Logano, which, hey, here's a fun little bit of Derek lore. I used to love Joey. When I was a little kid, he was my favorite driver. He the sport, driving the Home Depot number 20. I had the old fat. I don't even know if they still exist as a company. A giant fat head, about the size of that poster behind me, of Joey Logano's car in my room.
I forgot about Fathead. I used to have some Mariners ones.
Dude, I forgot about it.
Yeah.
That's
Floor drop.
And yeah, nowadays he's one of my least favorite NASCAR drivers. I think he would not be as despised by me if the playoffs didn't exist. I would make the argument that Joey Logano is rightfully a two-time champion. Neither of those two titles, or I should say none of those two titles, come from his 3 actual titles. The best season of his career, he didn't make the Final Four and did not race for a title.
So then you'd just say he's even. Even year.
He has 1 bonus title.
Even year Logano. So I think Joey's gonna be there or thereabouts this year, and I think with the chase, he'll be top 10 for sure in overall points. I don't think he will be.
I don't think he will.
I know you don't think he will. I think he'll be top 10 for sure. I think it's going to be really interesting, and we can talk about the chase more and the impacts of that. But I think I saw Dale Jr. talk about this during the Speed Week. He was on with who was he on with? He was on with Gluck, and anyway, they did they were still a live stream, and he talked about they ran in this committee when they were talking about changing the playoff format. They ran all these simulations of how it could play out, and he goes, the biggest outlier they found in this whole thing was the person who came into the chase 4th won the title. Hey, he's just he goes, if you're the guy getting into the chase in 15th place, you're not winning it. And that's Dale Jr. saying this. He's like, you would have to.
You need a miracle.
You would have to go on some sort of Jimmy Johnson-esque, and you'd have to fully capitalize. You need to win stages, you need to win races, and you need other stuff to go wrong. So, if Joey Logano's into the chase at 9th, I have to catch myself because I've almost said the playoffs 3 times now. If Jimmy Johnson, if Joey Logano and Jimmy Johnson are different drivers, did you guys know this? Anyway, if Joey Logano gets into the playoffs in 9th, I'm not rolling him out, but yeah. So, but I think he'll be a consistent chase driver.
To the next race, that was duel number 2. This one won by all the way. That was the biggest surprise about that race. Just all the way through, everybody played nice. Anthony Alfredo crosses the line in front of the other 2 cars and does not get to keep it.
What happened?
Yeah, gets disqualified. The way that it was described was there's on the driver's side of the car in the rear window a vent essentially in there, and it sounded like the tubing for the vent had come off and come loose, which can be seen as an advantage because instead of your car venting through the tube, it is now venting through the hole. It's essentially more air is able to get out.
So it was an accident, though.
So
Correct.
yeah, it didn't seem like an intentional.
That's
now. That being said,
oh wait, there's more.
Oh,
here's the biggest thing. Normally, Anthony Alfredo would be able to appeal this decision.
Sure.
If this was a race. However, officially speaking, the duels are classified as part of the qualification process for the Daytona 500. You cannot appeal a technical failure during qualifying.
that's annoying.
Anthony Alfredo also was scheduled to run the World Series race. Runs the 3rd slowest time of any driver and misses the show, meaning his team had to buy out another ride for him to run because they're trying to run full-time points.
So Anthony Alfredo competing for full-time drivers points in the O'Reilly Series is in a new second car for Viking Motorsports. Parker Retzloff took
same
Parker
team?
Retzloff's in the 99. And we're fans of
Different
No, other way around. What different team? Same team.
The second car for Alfredo.
So Parker Retzlaff's in the 99.
Okay.
Parker Retzlaff was in on owner's points. It didn't matter what.
Okay.
Because that car ran last year with Matt DeBenedetto.
He also ran a much better time.
He did. Alfredo, this is a brand new second car, runs so slow, doesn't qualify. And so what do? They go to Cesar Baccarella, who is a part owner in Team Alpha Prime, and go, hey, you're driving the 4 car this weekend. How about we put Alfredo in it? And the Caesar, being the savvy businessman that he is, goes, I would love for that to happen, which now gives us the abomination of this 4 car, which had like a cupcake on the side of it.
What?
And then they ripped the hood vinyl off it and put the Dude Wipes vinyl on it, because Anthony Alfredo is sponsored by Dude Wipes. And it is a complete abomination. And the best part of that is Ryan Williams. Big shout out here. Ryan Williams, graphic designer for Alpha Prime, or I think he's the head of digital or head of media or whatever it is. Yeah. But fantastic at his job. Then after the race, said, "Do I upload this one to iRacing?" ? So
yeah,
that might be.
Please do. That would be awesome.
The photo is incredible of this abomination.
It's just the most scuffed paint scheme.
Well, he didn't finish badly. He actually avoided a lot of the trouble late in the race. I would also like to add, we'll talk about it more when we get to the Art Series race. Anthony Alfredo was also involved in a crash on lap 0, which is to say he was in an incident before he crossed the start-finish line with the green flag.
Wow.
Just to clarify that Anthony Alfredo drove the Dude Wipes protein rice treats Chevrolet number 4. Sorry, just to clarify.
What a combo, man! What a combo.
See,
we love the weird things we get up to with our giant billboards in this sport.
Honestly, here's what I will say. People love to talk about how the Cup Series has taken a lull in this new generation of car because it's a spec car, pretty much. And that's why they say you should watch the Truck Series or you should watch O'Reilly, because that's more of like
Truck Series.
I know Derek hates the Truck Series.
Well,
you don't hate the Truck Series. You don't hate the Truck Series, but anyway, or why you should watch the O'Reilly Series, because it's more like that classic NASCAR feel.
Sure.
I say watch the O'Reilly Series because you get ridiculousness like this.
Yeah.
You get people buying out other people out of their seats day of. Slapping on logos on car. Like, I mean, I guess that happened. Like, BJ McLeod technically slapped a bunch of logos on in between qualifying for Daytona and running Daytona.
Yeah, but he slapped it on a blank car.
That's true. He had no sponsors coming into the weekend. He was just, I'm BJ McLeod and I have car. Which, for Caden, to get you up to speed, BJ McLeod at one point owned a charter and sold it for millions of dollars after getting it for free. Just decided to keep his Cup car. Comes out when he feels like it. It's kind of the I mean, what's the comparison we can make here, Derek? It's kind of the.
It would be like
is there one?
If it's kind of. I'm saying, like, I'm trying to compare this to like maybe drivers Caden has seen, or like a Northwest.
I was gonna say this would be like if a Major League Baseball player retired, but then every once in a while would just randomly appear in an Everett Aqua Sox game.
I mean,
I think it's more like if a entire team, if when the pilots became the Brewers and left, they kept all the facilities and just kept playing baseball every once in a while as the Seattle Pilots. When they felt like it.
They felt like
that. Okay, that's kind of awesome.
Yeah, it is. So
we could die, or we could stick around and just not do that.
I mean, I'm a big fan of BJ McLeod. I'm a big fan of these guys that run at the back.
It's a great name.
And these opening cars. Like, they're great stories. And, like, I think part of me also enjoys the little less polish that they all have. They're just dudes trying to qualify in. I mean, the Cup cars are ridiculously expensive, so you can't. It's not like you're running this without backing or money kind of thing. So they all have polish to that extent. But it's more just like, you know, I just like BJ McLeod's just happy to be here kind of thing. And he doesn't really care where he finishes, which is good based on where he finished. But
Caden, you like names. JJ Yaley. Here's a fun fact I learned about him this weekend. J.J. Haley, man who goes by J, does not have a single J in his name.
What?
Anywhere in his name.
What's his name?
J.J. Haley's name. Christopher Beltram Hernandez Yale.
What? What? Well, that's shockingly close to Christopher Bell as well, which I could understand not wanting to be that.
He is older than Christopher Bell is.
Oh, wow. Why JJ?
I saw a tweet this week, Derek and Caden. I saw a tweet this week that was talking about someone was complaining about how if the Fox broadcast was listing him as Cletus McFarland and not listing him as Garrett Mitchell, because Cletus McFarland's not his real name, and it was just someone going, "Oh, if that's how we really want to play this, let me introduce you to all these people." And it was like, I mean, we don't call him Dennis Hamlin. It's not even Dennis isn't even his first name. It's like his middle name.
Then is James.
It's like James Dennis Hamlin Jr. kind of thing, or something like, or that's what I'm saying. Like we don't just call him. So anyway,
Ace Elliott's first name is William.
His first name's not AJ. It's Anthony Allmendinger. Damn it.
At least that one sort of makes sense.
Yeah. So anyway,
all of that aside, we move on to the first actual race of the weekend. That being the NASCAR Craftsman and he's tackling the high banks of Daytona. Now, it came up earlier. I have mixed feelings on the truck series. What do I mean by that? I love the trucks, the bucket cars. I love the teams. I love the history. I love the fact that they have the most manufacturers. I'm a huge advocate for more manufacturers in the sport. However, a lot of times they do not behave themselves. And so, while this race is not a good example of that, I'm actually really proud of how the truck drivers handled themselves this weekend. A lot of times, the most infamous one being A23 Craftsman Truck Series title race. Might be 24. The race between Heim and Hocevar, where they both ended up in the wall on 4 separate occasions, mostly thanks to each other, racing for a title. That's not a good look. That's what a lot of the truck series has been. I don't know if we're rounding the corner here, moving into a new age of the truck series. These drivers played rather nice with each other. The Ram didn't put on a great show. They didn't do very well. Mini Tyrell spun on his own. Ray Stewart got screwed over. The only one who really made an impact was Justin Haley.
Thank you.
Who ran out of gas on the last lap. So,
but led laps, which is, he
did lead laps.
Just doesn't lead laps. Look, here's what I'll say. Mini Tyrell, I didn't expect anything out of. Mini Tyrell is a short track driver through and through. And because he won Race for the Seat, which is great, is being thrown to the wolves a little bit to open this year.
Sure.
He had to drive the Dodge Ram Chevrolet SS in the ARCA race. Because, I think they just did it just to get him extra practice, Derek. Because the truck race was before the ARCA race. It's not even like,
because he had never run a super speedway before, right?
No,
I don't believe so.
Mini Tyrell is not in a good boat to start this season, and I don't think he's going to make the change. I think he's a talented driver who will figure out this truck. Issue being that the start of this season is Daytona, Atlanta, the streets of St. Petersburg, Darlington, and then Rockingham is the first race I'd say has a chance at.
See, this is where I'll say, Dick, if winning you're in existed,
he's here.
He's here. Because when the trucks go to North Wilkesboro, Mini Tyrell is going to have a huge advantage.
And why is that?
Because
that's
race bread and butter. Way longer.
That's his bread and butter. That is a true short track. When they go to Bristol, when they go to Martinsville, when they go
Martinsville, yes. Bristol, no.
Well, Bristol's
Mini Tyrell is going to have a nightmare at Bristol because it's everything he's good at and everything he's not at the same time. Bristol is such a high track. It's so different from a regular short track. I don't think it's gonna slide the way of track aces. I mean, look at the series. This isn't a race we see Ryan Preece dominating in, or a race that we see Josh Berry doing well in. This is a race where the best driver you can have on Bristol, like other than just good drivers to do well, road course racers do really well at Bristol, surprisingly. Allmendinger, Shane Van Gisbergen, who've both had success at Bristol. Hell, Allmendinger was on the pole last year.
It has a lot to do with the braking and the use
That
of
makes sense.
like that foot movement. Which, by the way, if you want to have some sort of subtle enjoyment in your watch, go look on YouTube and watch Shane Van Gisbergen's foot cam from when he runs road cases.
There's a foot
like
cam?
yeah,
That's
it's like watching Picasso paint. It's like,
Wow.
It's finesse.
Can we talk about how? Did you guys realize Picasso was alive in the 1900s?
Isn't that really weird?
Like I thought
No.
that he was from the 1600s or something. Like that's what
No,
he feels like he should.
He does
Picasso lived
feel old.
very fast.
Picasso saw the NBA. You know what I mean? Picasso lived through 6 Super Bowls. Let's talk.
Picasso saw the Second World War. It was a formative thing to a lot of his paintings.
That's all right. Yeah, we'll have to circle back to the Picasso. Back to Ram trucks. Picasso.
That's what
Ram
you really
trucks.
come here to the Announcers Curse podcast. Talk on Picasso and art history. I do have to say, there is one Ram truck I was impressed by and one I was not. Impressed by Butterbean. Queen did a pretty good job. He was quiet for a lot of the night, but gave a lot of good pushes, was staying in line, doing well. What the hell happened to Dan Dye? By far the driver with the most Truck Series experience. It
Just
made the
never-
least sense for him to struggle as much as he did.
Yeah, it just felt like we just never saw him.
Exactly.
I don't remember his name really ever shuffling to the top. Which again, there's going to be so many things to work out here for these trucks, and Ram is getting aggressive. When I can't speak to a new manufacturer joining the series because I think the last time it happened I was 9. I can speak to new teams obviously entering the series. I don't know, what year did Toyota enter the series, Derek? I think he's looking it up. A lot of teams will start with 1 truck, 2 trucks maybe. Ram's going for 5.
Wow.
So, and I mean, here's what I will say. To Ram's advantage, they have an established team.
Sure.
In Colic. So it's not like just anyone, but it's going to take some time for them. What was it?
19 years ago.
Okay. So, yeah. So I was even younger than that, but I was 7. But so, but the point was just, it's going to take some time for them to build a notebook to figure out what's going on. I'm a little surprised. Daniel Dye did run well in his other appearances, I felt like, which we can get to with AM Racing, and and in that ARCA race, and so he was busy. But so yeah, the truck race was all over. When it came down to it, the trucks I think played nice for the most part. We got an incredible finish, which we haven't even got to yet.
Yeah.
5 trucks scramble into the line, and here came Fish Mobile and Chandler Smith, who had a literal fish on the side of his car.
Whoa.
You go look at the
Not a
paint
literal
scheme.
fish.
Not a live fish?
It's a fine, yeah.
No.
His truck was made out of aquarium glass.
That would be
Giant
awesome.
graphic of a fish.
Yeah.
He's sponsored by Big Fish?
I know.
Real Big Fish, the band. Anyway, here, I can look on that, but it was just, it was quite the scramble to the end, and they didn't wreck each other for it, and shout out Chandler Smith opening his bank account early in the truck series and saying, hey, Lane Riggs is the only front row truck here. Trophy Catch is the brand, by the way. Trophy Catch. A brand synonymous with the Announcers Curse podcast here.
Oh,
we all love our Trophy Catch.
You love
products.
Trophy Catch.
Of course.
So, saying, hey, I'm not the only, Lane isn't the only front row driver here. And
Chandler had a very disappointing year last year. I mean, he was 1 year removed from contending for the Xfinity Series title with Joe Gibbs Racing, goes back racing for Ford suddenly, does not perform to the level we'd come to expect from him. I'm curious to see how he does. Expecting QuickTie to be the primary sponsor again. He was one of the few drivers, say, was in Toyota development. And now Toyota development is in full swing. They've got a lot of young talent coming up. And so being on that Ford development train is a horrific curse. Because on one hand, you have a good truck ride with Front Row, maybe a shot at Penske or RFK down the line. On the other side of the coin, there's no Xfinity O'Reilly Auto Parts Series rides for you right now. There will be 3.
You have the one
O'Reilly Auto
car
Parts
and the 2 AM racing seats, and one of the AM racing seats is full time. So there's really only 2 open seats that you can jump in.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how Ford's looking right now on the lower side. But congrats to Chandler Smith. Let's check how our picks did.
While Derek pulls that up, I'll quickly point in Chandler Smith with the win. Gio Ruggiero, Christian Eckes, Ty Majeski, John Hunter Nemechek, your top 5. Ricky Stenhouse in his truck debut finishes 6th. Brennan Queen, the highest Ram finisher, finishes inside the top 7 or top 10 and 7th. Caden Honeycutt debuting with the now at the 11 finishes 8th. Tyler Ankrum, Stuart Friesen, your top 10. I'll shout out also Cole Butcher finishes 14th. Travis Pastrana 15th. Frankie Muniz outruns Daniel Dye, finishes 16th. And Daniel Hemrick with your Xfinity Fast Lap in 26th.
Forgot about the trucks. I forgot our picks for this one.
They're all bad.
None of our drivers finished inside of the top 30. All of them did pretty well at some point in the race. Caden took Carson Hocevar, who led a majority of this Truck Series race, or getting in pretty much every incident.
Good thing that'll be the only time that happens to him this weekend.
Right, guys?
Good thing. It's not like you'll get on a fight in pit road or disaster will strike at the 11th hour.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That could never happen.
The truck race was the low.
I feel so bad for him.
Ben took Lane Riggs. Honestly, just had a mediocre day. And then
Got trapped a couple laps down, never bounced back. Yep.
And I took Corey LaJoy because I don't like Corey LaJoy, but I therefore assumed he would do well because the world hates me. He ran 34th because the world hates me, and since I picked him, he did poorly. Tough break for the Henderson team. LaJoy was another driver who was doing really well, and another with the tire failure issue, which plagued many of the teams on Friday night, bringing us over to the wonderful world of ARCA. Ben and I made our voices very clear over on Twitter about how ARCA qualifies for the Daytona race in their group style. And
We weren't
the
the only
wise
one.
words
I want to put
of
that out there.
Cole
weren't the only
Raz. We were not. In the wise words of Cole Raz, your entire weekend comes down. And he would know. He almost missed the show because he was paired with most of the bottom level drivers.
Yep.
And that's not a slight against them. It's just their cars are worse equipment. At the
It
end
comes
of the
down
day,
to worse equipment, or it just comes down to like part of what makes it is you have to stay together as a pack. You have to run in line, and if you're not coordinated, if it's a driver's first time at Daytona, or you could be dead in the water, as Cole was for about 30 minutes.
Cole was the first driver out. That's how we thought it ended. We vocalized our opinions on that on Twitter. Aaron Creed, correspondent for many of the southwestern and southeastern late model division, voiced his discontent with that. Then Jake Bowman failed tech.
Thanks,
Bowman
Jake.
failed tech lost his position. Now he has owner's points, so we got to stay in the program. But that let Cole Raz would capitalize on it. None of us took Cole Raz for fear of cursing him, which we
Name of the podcast.
very much almost. But Raz would go on to take home the third place spot. Maybe just one more lap. Could have had it. I was really hoping he'd get it, but I can settle for third.
Yeah.
I'm sure Cole's happy to go from not being in the show to finishing.
That top line did not materialize. It could not get together, which I will say, we talked about the trucks playing nice. ARCA played real nice on Saturday. After last year's
With one notable exception.
With one notable exception. After last year's Wreck Fest, that was honestly embarrassing to the sport at points. Last year's ARCA Daytona race, which again, the ARCA Daytona race is on Fox. Wow. Not FS1, not FS2, not Fox 1, not Fox Business.
You know
Fox.
all of them. That's crazy.
And it was dreadful. You couldn't watch it. It was just caution after caution.
The crown jewel at the end of the race, after the checkered flag flew, was someone turning four-time Indy 500 winner Gio Castroneves into the outside wall at 120 miles an hour.
Oh,
and also just destroyed Cole Raz's ARCA car. You know, that's ARCA brakes right there.
Which, by the way, I just want to point out for Cole's runs, we talked about it was he told me a little bit beforehand that this was coming together, and I was really excited and kept had to keep it quiet. But he told me he was running for Rhett Jones Racing. Rhett Jones has kind of partnered very close with Port City. Obviously, Cole Raz.
Port City.
They did buy Port City. They were partnered with Port City. They bought Port City. Obviously, Cole Raz, Jefferson Racing, big time Port City customers. Cole's grown very closely with them. So it makes sense. This wasn't actually a Rhett Jones car. This was a Wayne Peterson car that Rhett Jones did some backing for. This was not. I don't know the quality of the car myself, but I mean,
yeah,
I'm assuming this was, this wasn't a car from JGR that they bought. And third place.
Here's the thing.
That car.
Here's the thing for me. You're going to hear a lot of people, if you consume outside media beyond the Announcers Course podcast, which you shouldn't. You should only listen to us.
Yes. Why about
talk about Gio Ruggiero as its great story, really figured it out, came out with a great ARCA win. Gio Ruggiero wrecked the two best cars of the night. He gave one of the worst pushes I've ever seen, smashed them into the wall. Nick Finch was the dominant car. It was Finch and Bolton. And that's how it was going to be. Maybe Robusto obviously had the issue with the engine. And the world's worst push takes the two dominant cars in the race. A heartbreaker for the whole Nitro Motorsports team. And it's Gio Ruggiero's fault at the end of the day. I'm shocked to not see more people mention that. I feel like it was clear as day to me. Obviously, Finch felt that way. Finch made his opinions clear on the situation. Ruggiero ran 3 races this weekend. Didn't do a great truck race. Obviously, won the ARCA race, and we'll talk about the O'Reilly Auto Parts race in a bit, where he crashed out and ripped apart that beautiful number 19 car in its one of 2 starts. I don't know. Not impressed with him, I guess, is the underlying message. We had our 3 picks, but before that, Ben, you want to tell us how they finished?
Yeah, so obviously Gio with the win. Derek with the high finish, 6th place with his pick of Jack Wood. Really solid there. Caden came home 12th with Michael Maples.
Let's go.
Daytona. And my pick was looking great, Derek, with Thomas Annunziata running inside the top 5 until his car got hit, and then he went, I turn right now, and the front of it hit the outside wall, and he comes home 26th.
I might be misremembering, but was that who I think it was who pushed him?
I don't remember exactly who pushed him.
Okay.
I just know that he almost got turned into Cole, and I was like, it was almost like heartbreak for me if both of them would've gone
that
clean.
would have sucked.
I like both of them a lot, and so
I won't say on the record it was Gio Ruggiero who gave the awful Thomas Annunziata, because I'm not fully certain it was Gio Ruggiero to Thomas Annunziata. If I'm wrong, oh no, he didn't cause that one. He just took out the two dominant cars. Oh no, if I'm correct.
So
Moving us into the O'Reilly Auto Parts series that took place the same day, we saw the very satisfying destruction of Gio Ruggiero, if you were me, because I watched him just destroy the dominant cars of a race, and I always find that very gratifying.
Karma.
Need to get some karma. The story of this race is the same it always is here at Daytona. The RCR show with Jesse Love and Austin Hill. Someone needs to try and win. That sounds like an absurd statement when we're talking about auto racing. There is no drive to beat Austin Hill. No one makes moves. No one tries anything. And every time he runs away with it. Austin Hill is not a good race car driver. He's in one of the best Xfinity cars in the field, a team that just won, the same team that just won the title, and he cannot perform to the same level outside of super speedways. I'm not saying he can't perform outside of super, but it's not nearly the same level of dominance. And I don't know if it's this factor of he has this reputation at this point as the greatest super speedway racer in the Xfinity series ever, which he deserves. I can make that clear. He has the most wins and the most laps led of any Xfinity series driver in the series' history.
more than Junior.
More than Dale Jr., more than Dale Sr., more than people who spent their lives doing this.
He is the greatest super speedway racer in O'Reilly series history.
Will tell you this now. I don't think Austin Hill will ever be a good Cup driver. I don't think Austin will ever make an impact in the Cup Series. Because he doesn't have that X factor.
Look,
He did. He's won 3 races every year for the past 3 years. Now, he hasn't even made the final 4 in all of those. He's destroyed one of his teammates. He's destroyed another one of his teammates. Drove Sheldon Creed out of the Chevy manufacturing camp for 2 years.
hooked Eric Almirola at Indy.
And then tried to kill Ryan Vargas the next week after complaining about how young drivers have no respect for the equipment of others.
Wow.
This is a driver who does not have a future in the NASCAR Cup Series. He will have a ride, almost assuredly. Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon need to go at some point. Jesse Love and Austin Hill will take over those seats. I'm nearly positive of that. But legitimately, none of you try and make a move until the 11th hour. Compliments to one man. Brennan Poole tried to get there. Brennan Poole did everything to get there.
Sure.
Ran out of help. Wow. Does this keep happening? How are you okay with this?
To Monday morning quarterback this, there was a few times where the junior cars were lined up. Raja, Sammy Smith, Allgaier, and they just couldn't come together.
Well, Ron didn't get to play a role in the end.
So there was a couple of times where, you know, a push could have come to get someone alongside him and kind of forced him to work a little bit, but it didn't come together. Look, this is fall Daytona, and this is Austin Hill's playground. And let me put it this way, Austin Hill's going to be even better this week because this is his home race. He's from Georgia. Atlanta's his home track, and it's a super speedway. You wouldn't be surprised if he opens up the season 2 for 2. He is so good at this. Now, here's what I will say. It is a combination of car and racecraft. Austin Hill, you could put in a lesser Chevy, and he would still be right there at the end of the race, in my opinion. but we have to just be honest and say the RCR cars at super speedways have a distinct advantage. No matter what, they just do. They just do. They're better than the junior cars. They're better than anything Ford is putting out there. They're better than the JGR Toyotas.
I don't think they are better than the JGR Toyotas. I think the JGR Toyotas are worse at team. Because here's the last little thing I'll give you about the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. In the top 20 of the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts series finishing results at Daytona, there is only Chevys.
Yeah, I saw that.
Not a single JGR car finished that race. They were all taken out in various incidents. Taylor Gray had a great night. Him and Sawalich hooked up a little bit, and the two of them were in the front in instants. Right there, running with these RCR cars. It's just a lack of experience. They have threatening cars. Sheldon Creed proved that. One of, I would argue, the best super speedway racers outside of RCR right now. He also got caught up in an early incident and was taken out of it.
Okay.
It's both these factors. I think the three best super speedway teams right now are JGR, going from third down to first. JGR Haas has some great super speedway cars, and one of the least lucky drivers in the world, and one of the single most aggressive drivers in the world. Sam Mayer took himself out of this race, wrecking with Sammy Smith 3 different times. Sheldon Creed ran of luck and just got screwed over. And all of the JGR cars got caught up in someone else's problems. Just
Look,
insanity.
At the end there, like you said, Brennan Poole had the run, and Justin Allgaier tried to push him, and they got disconnected. Like, it was unfortunate. And Allgaier and Brennan Poole, after the race on pit road, talking to each other. And Allgaier said, I was pushing you. I was there. I was going to give you the run. Like, they just got disconnected. And it ended, any attack on him. Look, I'm interested to see how Atlanta goes, because I'm sure these teams are going to get their heads in a room together and kind of knock their noggins around and be like, look, we can't let him do this again. But, this is, if there's, one thing that Austin Hill is very, very good at, it is super speedway racing. And he admitted it in his post-race press conference. He talked about how he saw how the other teams were hurting themselves. And he's like, I'll take that. Like, he saw how disorganized they were. He saw how they weren't working together. And he's like, I'm not, why would you stop your enemy from don't stop your enemy from messing it up.
Shooting themselves in the foot. Yeah.
Now, it also takes the skill and the car, and he knew how to throw the block at the right time when he had to. And he didn't, you want to know who's terrible at blocking? And I hate to say this, Michael McDowell. Michael McDowell's terrible at blocking. Every time at a super speedway, when I watch Michael McDowell try to throw a block, cars end up in fences.
Joey Logano.
But
Joey Logano was missing a Daytona 500 win because of a very bad block. That gave Michael McDowell his Daytona 500 win.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
I think another night up there in the world of bad blocks would have to be, I don't know, the driver of that Traveler Whiskey number 40.
Yeah, Derek's gonna, the great segue. Yeah.
Well, first, Ben took the win on this one. O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. He Austin Hill. He picked the obvious one. And that's how Ben, he'll pick his favorite sometimes. He's not like me who has to pick someone insane.
I won't pick him for Atlanta. I won't pick him for Atlanta. I'll go somewhere else. But
hey, this is your cue to pick. Atlanta. This is your chance.
Well, honestly,
I'm going to take another completely insane pick.
But honestly, Caden, if you don't want to take Austin Hill, you can take Jesse Love.
No, I'm locking it in right now. Giving right. Austin Hill at Atlanta.
All right. We're not even there yet, but he wants Austin Hill.
I'm getting it in now.
All right.
Hayden took Carson Cavapel, who took 7th place himself. And I took Parker Retzlaff, who was in the mix at the end. I think he was going to get there. There was a moment my soul just said, hey, you did it, Derek. You made a shit insane pick that came true. and he ended up 14th because it's how it is. We all know this. No matter, my brain insists I pick the crazy pick, and this always happens.
Which is okay.
But it makes me look great when it does come true.
Now we segue into the big one, the Daytona 500, which was ran at half throttle.
For most of it, yeah. And I watched it. I have officially doubled the amount of NASCAR races I've seen from first to last lap.
You've seen two Daytona.
Two Daytonas.
And was this one a more enjoyable experience?
No.
There.
It was not.
All right. Well, then, the Daytona 500 is going back to airspeed. Tyler Reddick ends his winless streak and goes to victory lane after the 500 on kind of a crazy finish that let's walk through. I think the first couple stages, honestly uneventful. BJ McLeod spun early and ended his day.
The wheel came apart. Not the tire, the wheel
itself
disconnected and like ripped itself apart. The housing that the housing that connected it to the actual axle just came right off, broke. Race on it, Mark Rotten reported.
We will also say like protons and neutrons, the Bass Pro Shops cars were attracted to each other, and Austin Dillon just ran down Chase Briscoe spinning in the grass.
Who was my pick to win?
Yeah, I don't blame you for picking Briscoe. Would have been a good one.
It wasn't a bad pick. I just got
a great pick, actually.
yeah. It's a great pick, knowing that we picked this preseason before qualifying. So before you knew he was going to be on the front row. It came down to the last lap. They ran stage 3 at half throttle, and people were complaining about the race manipulation, air quotes for the audio listeners, about the Toyotas running 3 wide. And look, we have to talk about fuel saving because everyone is talking about it. I've heard a couple different takes on this, and I've kind of agreed with the line of we go back to what Alan Gustafson said, crew chief for Chase Elliott in his interview, which is, look, you can't really unlearn this stuff. You can't really put, we've opened Pandora's box of fuel saving. Chase Elliott talked about it too. And he's like, this thing was really fun when like 3 of us knew about it. Because but now everyone knows about it and it's no fun. But look, it is what it is at the end of the day. And I know so many people on the internet were complaining about the fuel saving on the Jeff Clucko meter about was Daytona 500 a good race? Over 70% of people said it was a good race. Even with so much of stage 3 being run at half throttle. And this is what I'll say about this. Would we rather see them run half throttle 3 wide during stage 3, or would we rather have them run single file for 100 laps? Because that's what they used to do. They didn't save fuel, but they ran single file and no one did anything.
I want tandem back.
Yeah, you're weird like that, Derek, and that's okay. You know what? Actually, I take that back. I would be okay with tandem if we go back to letting the drivers communicate with each other on the radios.
Yeah.
Because that was the best.
I love the anarchy age.
Yeah. Hey, Carl, you want to work with me? No, hang on. I'm sorry. I told Tony to go pick him back. We're gonna go pick Tony up. All right. Okay. The two, pull out.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I have a hot take. I kind of don't mind fuel saving racing. I think some of my favorite moments from this Daytona was when someone, I don't remember who it was specifically, but there were a couple times where some driver did not pit and was leading, and I was like, how long can they go? The anticipation was building.
Won stage 1 that way.
Yeah.
Won that way. Look, this is what I'll say. Fuel saving has always been a part of racing. It is a strategy, and to kind of gang up on it. Again, I understand from a driver standpoint, it isn't fun to run in a pack at Daytona, not be able to go anywhere, and be running half throttle. That's probably not really enjoyable. And from the nerd perspective, and for the people that are really into the sport, looking at them running 5 seconds slower a lap than they were, it's enjoyable. But to the average fan, and I think this is kind of what the point that NASCAR is making, it looks good. It's 3 wide, and there's lots of jockeying and pushing, and you have to get these good, drivers have to make good saves when they get a bad bump, and like I understand where they're coming from, and I also will give NASCAR a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here when they're kind of like, what do you want us to do? Like, Dale Jr. and Denny Hamlin talked a lot about the spoiler. If you made the spoiler shorter, because the spoiler is humongous on the super speedway cars. If you took some of the drag out of the cars and made them super hard to handle, then, drivers would have to be. Denny Hamlin said on Action Sentimental, kind of talking about like you have to make the car so hard to handle that during final practice, I'm in the shop trying to fine tune our setup and not fishing on Lake Lloyd, which
that was crazy.
That was literally what he was doing during final practice. And so that's what I'm saying is, I don't think there's an easy fix here for the fuel saving. I don't, but I'm not gonna get upset with it. I don't think. I think I'm just gonna live with it. And it made the money stop fun. Like it made that final pit stop. And when Michael McDowell's going, 10 to go, 9 to go, he's out there, and I'm like, and according to Michael McDowell's crew chief, he would mathematically have had enough. He would have gotten there.
It's crazy to me.
I have complicated feelings on this. Because very simply put, I love fuel mileage racing. I think it adds such an awesome dynamic everywhere but super speedways. Because the thing that makes fuel saving so special to me at a short track or a mile and a half is there's a huge sacrifice you're making by not coming in to pit. And that's you're giving up the tires. There is a legendary race from 2022 where Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick pit for tires and nobody else does. And Denny and Harvick chase each other through the field from a lap and a half down, past the leaders, and Hamlin wins the race with Harvick on his tail.
Wow.
Because that's cool. Like they take that risk.
Mm-hmm.
The hard thing for me, where NASCAR is coming from. And I haven't enjoyed a Daytona 500 overall in a long time. The finishes have been great for a number of years. Well, standing lost it much better than last year. There's no disadvantage to not taking tires. Tires can last almost 125 laps. A lot of these teams tires once in a 200 lap race.
Mm-hmm.
Contrast that with Bristol last year, where they lasted 35 laps. We have a tire compound for super speedways that can go, let's be conservative, 250 laps versus a tire compound, 250 miles versus a tire compound at Bristol that can go 8 good. We gotta, the truck series is running into a problem where they're having tires burst constantly. The Cup Series doesn't have that problem. What's going on? I guess this is my big question. Where all this is coming from. I have watched a lot of Daytona 500s. I still think the best ones were from the Mare. I think the only good thing the Car of Tomorrow ever gave us was some great Daytona 500s. But this is a bridge you have to cross. This is the race with the most eyes on it for NASCAR. It always is. The season white IndyCar oval packages are built around the Indy 500 because that's when the eyes are on the race. You gotta figure something out, and they will. I really think they will. This is a new age of NASCAR that's very concerned about how they're perceived. If they weren't, there's 2 things they wouldn't have done. One, they wouldn't have fired their president for his comments he made regarding Richard Childress and everything about the lawsuit. And 2, they would have thrown the yellow going into turn number 1 on the last lap. NASCAR played really conservative with the yellow flag at the end of these races. Mm-hmm. The trucks, O'Reilly Auto Parts, and Cup all had some kind of incident on the final lap, and they let them race the line. Granted, Cup's wreck was so much worse than what they showed on TV. We got from the stands, and it is, I believe, involved 15 cars. And it got crazy. NASCAR let it go. It's a somewhat controversial.
And that's when Hocevar got spun around, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I, for one, am happy that I didn't have another Ricky Stenhouse win, because no part of me ever wants to see another Ricky Stenhouse win.
Good.
There's a precedent that's been set in previous years. You throw the yellow after the move on to, I think, made the racing product better. I understand the safety issue. It's a huge safety thing, and we should never do it. Very frankly, we should never do that. Doesn't mean I'm going to love it any less than the golden age where it's get back to the yellow flag first and you get the spot.
I think so NASCAR did confirm it was 2 different race directors. It was one race director for trucks and for O'Reilly, and it was a different race director for Cup. So overall, yeah, Derek, they swallowed the whistle this weekend. I think they let the solo spins go longer, and they didn't always bring out cautions.
Yeah, Carson Hocevar can attest.
You know, that final run, you know, race control deemed it like they are in turn 1 and 2. I will also say Daytona is obviously different because there's so much track. You can or you can be involved in an instant turn 1, and it's going to be over a minute, or, you know, close to a minute before they get back to you. You know, we've thrown it in turn 3 before. Oh, I know.
We've thrown a yellow for the finish
down the backstretch. You know, they're not afraid to throw it if they deem it unsafe and they have to. Clearly, they felt like they were okay, and they let them run down the back. And what did that give us? That gave us a front row car. I believe it was Zane Smith again. Zane Smith pushing Chase Elliott out into the lead. Chase Elliott, champion of NASCAR Cup Series, never won the Daytona 500. Push him out. And Chase Elliott talked about he pushed him too far. And one thing when that happens is you get hung out to dry. You know, you become a parachute out there, right? Yeah. You have to keep that pushing. They became separated. And can we shout out Riley Herbst? Top 10 finish for Mr. Monster. And giving Tyler Reddick the biggest push of his career. Like, you know.
And then turning up the track to go put Keselowski.
Look, we'll get to that. Gives Tyler Reddick the huge run. And if we're being completely honest, Riley Herbst had a huge run of his own right. I think we're going to have to be talking about these 2311 cars as the new Penske when it comes to super speedways. Because Bubba led so many laps. Corey Heim was in it till the end. I think we're going to have to be talking about 2311 as a super speedway team for sure. But Riley Herbst tried to go to the outside. According to Denny Hamlin and SMT data, Riley Herbst got off the gas right before he made that move. I don't know if he actually hit the brake. Got off the gas. And I mean, huge run from Brad Keselowski to another guy chasing a Daytona 500. Huge run. If Riley Herbst keeps his foot in it, Derek, there's a chance he gets in there. And Brad Keselowski's now pushing Riley Herbst to winning the Daytona 500.
Let me be really clear about what I mean. I don't think Riley Herbst intentionally put Brad Keselowski in the wall. I think Riley Herbst went up to try and block the run, take a bit of it himself, and I think he did the exact same thing Justin Allgaier did earlier in the day.
I think Riley Herbst saw it
had bigger consequences.
I think Riley Herbst saw it as his only chance to win. Is he made the decision, I got to go high, and it hung Chase Elliott out. And ultimately, they all get tangled. It wipes Logano. It wipes Elliott. It wipes, Keselowski.
It's everybody. It's Stenhouse as well.
And then
they're all spinning across the line.
You see the 45 Chumbawamba car skate across, what is it, Chumba Casino? Is that
Casino?
Chumba Casino. Which, by the way,
the origin of the joke that the only reason 2311 exists is so there's various sponsors to fund Michael Jordan's gambling addictions.
No, I'm going to one-up you. If I had a nickel for every time 2311 won a crown jewel sponsored by Chumbawamba, or the honorary starter was a cartoon character, I'd have 2 nickels because It was Bart Simpson.
Shout
That
out.
was for the Daytona 500. And when they won the Brickyard last year with the Jumbo Casino, Bubba Wallace 23, it was Cookie Monster who started. So I don't know. Who else can we get? Oscar the Grouch to start the Southern 500, and we're gonna watch Riley Hirsch strut to victory
I don't
lane.
know. But before you and I talk anymore about this, I do hate it. You watch the finale here. You're not a NASCAR fan. You're coming into the sport.
Yeah.
What was your side of this experience watching the end of this one?
Well, so pretty early on, my pick Briscoe was out of the race, so I had to pivot. Yeah, thanks for the reenactment. I pivoted to my favorite driver, Todd Gilliland, the Todd father, who twice, I believe, was in the top 5 and then crashes out. And the second time does not make it back into the race. So I was pretty torn already. I didn't have anyone I was really rooting for. I kind of was pulling for Zane Smith because he's teammates to Todd. I didn't really have a horse in the race anymore. But I thought, I don't know, I felt really bad for Carson Hocevar. That was my big takeaway. Like, I really like him, and I saw his post of after the race on Instagram, and the caption was just 2 miles away. And I was like, oh, my heart breaks for him.
I mean, he had a shot, and
Yeah.
man, I want to. Harps gave a great push too, but as much as that was a huge part of winning that race, I think Tyler Reddick deserves a lot more credit than getting for the maneuver he made to the high side, get around that first group. And then he threads the needle perfectly to get to the low side and get inside of past Zane Smith and then right to the inside of Chase Elliott. Just a beautiful move. That's the thing he did without the contact. That's on his own. Running off the draft, the way he placed his car showed experience, someone who's learned from his time in NASCAR. He makes that first move along the outside with the push from Herbst, and then he dives down to pick up the draft from Elliott and Smith in order to slingshot around them. Just great. I mean, he deserved that win. I'm so happy to see Tyler Reddick get back to victory lane. I mean, I will remind people he is my pick to win the title this year.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And I think it's a great way to start the 2026 campaign for 2311 and for Tyler Reddick.
Couple of notes here, guys, from NASCAR Insights from the 500. 25 leaders is the new record. 65 total lead changes, was just tied for second all time. Only 5 cautions, excluding cautions for stages, which is tied for the fewest since 2005. 37 of 41 cars were involved in an accident, and 15th last lap pass in Daytona 500 history. And we'll have to give a good shout out here to Josh Berry of the Wood Brothers for being the only car not involved in an accident in either the duels or in the Daytona 500. Kept it clean award.
This is very impressive because a bonus shout out to Josh Berry, whose playoff campaign last year ended in the round of 16 after he became the first and only driver ever in the history of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs to come in last place in 3 consecutive races, all of which were the same round of the playoffs.
Yep.
To gain a whopping 3 points.
Yeah, it's the lowest. It's the lowest you could hypothetically earn. Also, just
terrible reason.
Fun note here: Michael McDowell ran the final 66 laps of the 500 without pitting. 61 of those were under green. The 165-mile run on 1 tank of fuel is the longest of any driver has achieved in the next-gen era. Wow. The previous record was 160 by Justin Haley at Indianapolis last year. So hypothetically, Daytona could become a 2-stop.
What? That's another Spire car. That's another Spire car in a previous race.
By the way, for when Tyler Reddick's diecast comes out, I'm excited for the scan. Riley Herbst's team joined, Tyler Reddick in victory lane and celebrated. And on the back bumper where it says Toyota, wrote the 35 was here. and a bunch of them signed in the Toyota logo. Because again, Tyler Reddick doesn't get there if Riley Herbst doesn't give him that push. And so
That's cool.
Tyler Reddick said, quote, "I'll buy him whatever he wants." When asked at his press conference, what does Riley Herbst get? He said anything he wants for that push.
Good answer.
Daytona
Race week.
is come and gone. We look forward to the Peach State. We head to Echopark Speedway. Say it with me now, Derek. Echopark Speedway.
So it's Echo Park Speedway. I mean, it will take some time. I will say, so I grew up on the Xbox and the PS2. And one of the games that I remember so clearly is NASCAR Total Team Control 05, I think it is. Remember, and I'm bringing this up for one specific reason. And it's that when I got back into NASCAR in 2020, sort of fell back in love with the sport I grew up on, I needed to relearn the fact it's called Charlotte because I only knew it as Lowe's Speedway. So this isn't a foreign concept to me, an entire, track being sponsored by a place. I mean, heck, Auto Club, that's a sponsor. The track is Fontana or California Super Speedway.
Right.
Underrated fact, name is California Super Speedway.
It's a good name.
And here's your pop quiz, Ben. What was California/Fontana/Auto Club sister track?
Sister track?
Yep. It's still on the NASCAR schedule.
Sonoma. No. Still on the Cup Series schedule?
Such a stupid answer.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry. Sister track. Still on the Cup Series schedule. I'm assuming it's not on the West Coast.
The only other 2-mile cookie cutter oval, though.
What's 2 miles long now? Kansas is 1.5 miles. It's not Kansas. Is it rejoining the Cup schedule this year? Yes, it's not Chicagoland.
Classic. It's one of my favorite tracks.
One of your favorites? I'm trying to think what's 2 miles long. I can't think of the 2-milers right now.
There's only one.
Well, that's why I can't think of it.
I'd ask Caden, but there's no way in hell he knows, so.
Caden just starts reading the schedule.
Yeah. I'll get there eventually.
Am I northeast? Is it Loudon? No, Loudon's.
Loudon's also a mile. It's Michigan.
Michigan.
Michigan and Auto Club were sister tracks.
That's fun.
Auto Club's gone now.
Yeah.
All gone.
Bye-bye.
Isn't treated like Chase Briscoe's car. Bam!
Okay, enough.
California is just whacking tracks left and right. So
You gotta make room for the.
We don't need to worry about that happening to Atlanta. No, they're making room for more apartments.
Oh, well, that's bad.
and
storage shopping malls. Heading to Echo Park Speedway, my pick for that week Cup Series is Chris Buescher. Oh, that's what we forgot. I came home with the best Cup finisher with Brad Keselowski coming home 5th. Ben had Ryan Blaney, who came home 26th. Caden had Chase Briscoe, who finished 36th. As for our picks next week in the Cup Series, it is myself taking Chris Buescher, Ben taking Liam Byron, and Caden with the choice to take Cole Custer.
Yep.
Which I'm gonna give Caden a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. If you remember last year, Derek, I took Cole Custer to win at a super speedway, and then Cole Custer was second place at the said super speedway before he turned Denny Hamlin, caused a big wreck, and William Byron went do 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 do. So,
who is your pick?
It's not impossible. I picked Cole Custer to win at a super speedway. It's super speedway racing, Caden.
But you picked Byron this year. That's a crazy coincidence.
Well, yeah, I'm not.
It's a good pick.
I'm not a fool.
Well, apparently I am. Cole Custer.
Honestly, I'm less worried about that and more worried about some of these other picks, including 3-win season for Cody Ware. But
I thought it was only 2.
Is it 2 or 3? It doesn't matter.
I think it's 5.
He's got North Wilkesboro going to Cody
No,
Ware.
it's 3. It's 3.
Oh, it's 3. Is it Kansas, Wilkesboro?
No, it's Charlotte, Kansas.
So much worse.
Doesn't matter. It's not going to happen. So,
all right. Well, in the O'Reilly
I'm a
Auto Parts
believer.
series, as we already know, Caden has taken Austin Hill, as was discussed earlier on in the episode.
Yep.
Ben, I'm gonna give a first dibs to you. Are you gonna take an RCR car? I gotta go pick my batshit insane one.
No, I'm not going to pick an RCR car. He hurt me because he put my precious Denny in the wall. But give me Little Gator. I'll take Justin Allgaier to win at Atlanta. Put it out there. Watch my guy, Dr. Speed, Patrick Staropoli. Keeping the eyes on him on Big Machine Racing this weekend at Atlanta. Not the official pick, but could be the official pick if I wanted it to be.
One team I was really impressed with over at Daytona was the team we didn't even know if they'd be there because they didn't announce their drivers until a week of the event. And, well, I think they can do it. So give me driver the number 25 for AM Racing, Nick Sanchez, to win at Echopark Speedway.
That'd be a good one. I mean, AM was obviously, last year. The fact that they even ran 2 cars at Daytona with when they found out that they were still a race team, I think was impressive. My only concern, Derek, and we talked about it, Ford does not have a lot of dancing partners, so they're kind of on their own when it comes to super speedway pack racing. But it'd be cool to see if Nick Sanchez gets it done. So Nick Sanchez, Justin Allgaier, Austin Hill, our picks for the O'Reilly Auto Parts series at Echopark. Now we move to the Craftsman Truck series. Derek, if you want to have the first pick here, where we're going for Echopark.
There's no easy way to say this. This is one of the craziest picks I've ever made. I'd put it on par of likelihood with Cody Ware winning a race this season.
Oh my goodness, he's taking Norm Benning.
But it's an excuse to bring him up. Tricon has 2 open cars this year.
Okay, it's not Norm Benning.
Driving the number 5 at Atlanta this week is a member of Racing Royalty. Give me Adam Andretti in the Toyota Tricon number 5.
All right. Derek going bold, a guy not even on our roster yet because it was just announced.
Wow.
That would be super cool. Be very cool to see. Tricon's got good trucks. Toyota's got...
It'd be hilarious for him to do what his dad never did.
I'm going to stay in the same manufacturer camp with you, Derek, and I'm going to stick with the Toyota, and I'm going to stick with a guy who I'm very impressed with when he's in a truck, and sometimes impressed with when he's in a cup car. Give me John Hunter Nemechek. John Hunter, great super speedway racer, great truck racer. I think has a real good chance this weekend at Atlanta.
I'm going to make a very safe pick. I'm locking in and actually trying for this week because Cole Custer, Cody Ware, I got to make up points into other weeks. So give me Corey Heim to win the Craftsman Truck Series at Echopark.
Yep. He is racing this race. That is a fair pick. You can't take Corey Heim. We did both kind of gloss over that. Well, we're all taking Toyotas.
Yeah.
I mean, Heim's not the greatest super speedway driver. He's not a bad one by any means, but I don't feel like it's a total lock-in, nor is it a bad, like a total lock-in win, I should say. I think he will do well. He's got also pretty significant backing with Toyota. You've got a lot of the other Tricon trucks there to help him out with Adam Andretti. Who am I kidding? Not Adam Andretti. He won't be factor at all. Captain Bad pushed you, Ruggiero, Heat, Caden Honeycutt, Tanner Gray. Tanner Gray, by the way, we didn't bring him up in the truck series section, actually did a great job, led quite a few laps at Daytona. This is his 8th year in the truck series. And from the way they were talking about it on the broadcast, one of the few good bits out of that broadcast, it's go time. It needs to happen now. And I think Tanner Gray is well aware. His chance is running out. His younger brother has already surpassed him and gone into the Xfinity O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, picking up a win last year. I think will be a major contender later this year. Yeah. Tanner Gray, time's running out.
Well, there you have it, folks.
Yeah.
You all think a Toyota is going to win at Atlanta.
We all think a Toyota is going to win at Atlanta. I've Also continued my significant favoritism towards Ford, despite their lack of presence in the sport this year, with another Ford added to my collection. Yeah, thanks for joining us here on this episode of the Announcer Podcast. I hope you stick around with us every week. We'll be back next week with more news and plenty of other stuff from the wide, wide world of sports. Probably the Olympics. Who knows? Maybe we'll actually discuss the Olympics. That's happening right now, by the way. I haven't seen anyone talk about it, but the Olympics are happening now. They're happening now. You're missing out. You gotta go now. Watch some hockey. That's the underlying message. Thanks for tuning in to the Announcer's Curse podcast. Until next time, I'm Derek Todoroff.
I'm Ben Iman.
I'm Caden Barksdale.
And remember, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Run.